much. Will Cain, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Will, this kind of hardball, obviously not something that the White House and Democrats are used to or like. Is it necessary?
Yeah, it's necessary, and I think it's genius, Harris. I mean, I think everybody should have to live under the policies they advocate. You know, for example, last week, the New York Times employees said they don't want to return to office. And so that's a policy the New York Times has advocated for, staying home during the pandemic, looking for raises, deferring to a union. I think everybody should have to live with the policies they advocate. There should be crime on the 15th floor of the New York Times, homelessness in the lobby. And in this case, what we should do, and what governors across the nation, including Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, are doing is making sanctuary cities live under the policies they advocate. You know, actually, it's more benign than that, Harris. They're actually just accepting an invitation. These cities have invited illegal immigrants to come and take advantage of their sanctuary. Why are they then upset that somebody has accepted their invitation?
That is such an excellent point. And that furthers the question, too. How did they think they were going to get away with calling themselves sanctuaries if they didn't actually offer sanctuary?
Yeah, because it was an empty promise, empty rhetoric, like so many of these policies. And I just find it so rich, you know, that they're complaining about a few thousand illegal immigrants in their cities when Texas and Arizona and California are experiencing that on an hourly basis. Hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants every month, millions of encounters on the year. And the best, you know, I was kind of thinking here, it's like, what's the perfect analogy? I don't know the perfect one, but I'll offer you this. It's like your neighbor has a water main leak. He's done something, he's advocated, he's invited this water main leak, and all the water is pouring onto your property. And you had the gall to pump just a small bit of it back onto his property after he would do nothing to fix the leak. And then he's all self-righteous about you pumping a few buckets of water back onto his lawn as he floods your property. I mean, I don't know if that's the perfect analogy, but the point is they have created the problem, and they have flooded southern states with this problem.
Well, look, when you start to take the problem to the doorsteps of the people who push those policies, this is what it can look like. Illinois Mayor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot both called out Texas Governor Abbott yesterday and then called on the National Guard for help. Mayor Lightfoot said this.
It is a manufactured crisis by ambush. Any dollar that goes to the state of Texas, every single one of those dollars needs to be committed to cities like Chicago, New York, and Washington, D.C.
Mayor Eric Adams said that New York City is nearing its breaking point with the arrival of thousands of illegal immigrants in the city. This from a man who wants to flow them into the city so that they can vote. Remember, he said that as a candidate. I mean, so that illegal immigrants. So I would think that he would be really glad to see more of his so-called voters.
That's why this is so ingenious. You know, make them sound out. Go ahead and put into your big boy words why this is a problem. You want money from Texas to go to Illinois. You're at your breaking point in New York. You describe this as a manufactured problem in Illinois. Now, sound out that and apply it to the federal government and see how it's affecting Texas. You might see that your small scratch is a gaping wound down south if you just sound out your rhetoric. And I also think, by the way, their self-righteousness on, you know, this is an inhumane and Christian policy. I mean, look, these people, by the way, are all going north at the invitation of sanctuary cities and at the voluntary nature of these buses from Texas and Florida. So I'm curious, was it also inhumane when the Biden administration flew underage migrants to New York in the middle of the night? I mean, this was being done before. It's just being done at a little bit higher rate and with the intent purpose of showing our broken borders. And now all of a sudden it's inhumane?
Yeah, those surreptitious flights where minors were being dropped off. I remember having a deep conversation about this with Senator Blackburn out of Tennessee, because those flights were landing and people were like, well, wait a minute, we got to take care of all these children. You can't just, what are you going to do, leave them on the tarmac? But the left is trying with this to flex its right virtue, if you will, that righteous virtue. It's difficult because all of these people with an open border situation are at danger from the cartels, from any number of things, from rape, from sex trafficking, from all of it. We all have that on our conscience. So I don't know why the Democrats think that they can brush theirs clean. Their conscience, that is.
No.
Let's move. More Americans are struggling as inflation spirals out of control. New Fox polling finds 78% of voters say they've experienced financial hardship over the last 6 months. Well, that is smack in the middle of when Biden has been spending a lot. More than half say the inflation is not under control at all. 80% of people say they think the economy is in fair or poor condition. In other words, it's not good. Some Democrats are boasting about the Inflation Reduction Act. At least they were. And now, straight up ignoring any questions about what's happening. Watch.
When is the Inflation Reduction Act going to reduce inflation?
Well, I think if you look at...
Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
You know what's worse? I wonder if they even bothered to read all of that. The part where the CBO said days before they rushed to pass that beast of spending, you know, this doesn't do anything to touch inflation. Did they even listen? Inflation earlier this week sent the markets to the lowest point in more than 2 years. The Dow Jones, you're looking at it there, plummeted. However, the White House doesn't seem too alarmed and even downplayed it.
The stock market it's one measure of how the economy is doing, and we are watching this closely. It's also important to look at what's happening on Main Street. We have one of the strongest job markets on record.
Will, your reaction, first of all, to the White House press secretary. I mean, we know that she is not an economist, but she gave it a try.
Well, yeah, and I wish her luck with that message. I don't think people on Main Street feel any better about the economy than, say, those who have retirement funds, 401ks, and see what's happening on Wall Street. You can feel the economic insecurity, driven largely by inflation, and then the offshoots of inflation. You can feel any small business owner who's dealt with the difficulty of finding someone to work and the concept of quiet quitting, which people on this network have talked about, an amazing phenomenon of quiet quitting. We're just losing productivity, Harris. I mean, we're just losing the will to create and to be productive in our economy. And that's by design. I mean, a lot of this entitlement-based spending is by design. And this is the gift. I mean, look, if you want to talk about, just for a moment, you know, partisan electoral politics, here you go, Republicans. This is your path to victory in the midterms. You need, you know, we can and should talk about illegal immigration. We can and should talk about, you know, insane educational systems that now push trans and woke theory. We should talk about crime, but this is number one. This is number one, as you just pointed out in the polls. Inflation and the effect not just on Wall Street but Main Street is number one. And real quick, Harris, on the Inflation Reduction Act, I don't know if they read it, but it doesn't matter because the day afterwards they didn't even pretend it was an Inflation Reduction Act. They started calling it, what they call it, like a Green New Deal or a climate change bill. They were at least honest after they sold it to us about it, what it actually was, after the fact. But then they started calling it what it is.
And look, two things just to follow up on what you're saying there, because you bring up such a beautiful point about where we are right now. And it really does speak to the disconnect from not just the White House, but lawmakers on the left side in general. So can Republicans now take that message about and stay focused on that message about the thing that Americans say they care most about? Because if they can't pay for their eggs, milk, and bacon, if breakfast is the most expensive meal of the day now, eggs up 38%, then they won't be thinking about all those other things as much. They got to eat. The last thing, the quiet quitting, that phenomenon that means that there's a cultural impact now on these Biden policies. That means that it's weighing heavily on the next generation to sit down rather than to rise. That hurts. Will Cain, thank you.
That is so dangerous. You're exactly right. It's a cultural problem that could last generations, not just a momentary dip in the economy, but a generational collapse in productivity. You're absolutely right.
Good to see you. Thanks for being in focus.
You too. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.